The movie begins in Milan, Italy, in 1945, during the last days of the war. Isola secretly meets Yvonne, his girlfriend, in a movie theater. She nervously asks if he is following. He confidently says no, as he's a professional. Yvonne tells him that the partisans confirmed meeting with him that night and voices her concerns as he deals with contraband. He reassures her that he's doing it for both of them so that he can have the money they need to get them both out of Italy, especially away from the fascists. He offers to go to Cabiria later, but she discourages him as Borsellino will have him hanged. Later, Isola deals with Ahab and his group of Italian resistance fighters, and he shows them the weapons he stole along with heavy explosives. When Ahab and his group want to steal the weapons from Isola, they get warning shots from afar to drop their weapons. It's from Isola's associate, Marcello. Ahab reluctantly pays him with a bag of cash. Then, they are interrupted when fascist soldiers arrive and shoot at them. Isola accidentally drops the bag and tries to get it, but the soldiers have them cornered. Marcello arrives just in time to prevent Isola from being shot, but the money bag is shot. Per his request, Marcello drives away to safety and drops Isola off at Cabibria's secret entrance. Isola goes through an air shaft to Yvonne's dressing room. With just the two of them alone, Yvonne calls him by his real name, Pietro. Isola claims that the deal earlier was good, and the two share a loving kiss. Their makeout session is interrupted by a loud knocking on the door. Isola goes to hide, and Yvonne covers herself as she gets to the door. Leonida, Borsellino's right-hand man, barges into the room to check if anyone else is there. He tells her to hurry up in changing to meet with Borsellino. Soon, they arrive at his office, where Borsellino is torturing a man for helping the resistance. Achille Borsellino is Secretary General of the National Fascist Party and Mussolini's right-hand man. Borsellino pauses his interrogation to meet with Yvonne. Meanwhile, Isola returns to his place, where Marcello and Amadeo are forging identification papers. An annoyed Isola gives him a newspaper with comics, per his request. Later, Borsellino gets a call from his wife, Nora Cavalieri, a retired actress, who tells him to sleep beside her when he's finished with his mistress. Then, Borsellino receives an encrypted message. Marcello overhears it and jots it down. He gives the encoded message to Amadeo to try and decipher it for him before he goes to bed. The next day, Isola calls for Amadeo to breakfast, who is busy decoding the message. He sees a drawing of a girl and teases Amadeo about it, and apologizes for his rudeness last night. Soon, he deciphers the message with the help of the newspaper Isola gave him. He immediately tells Marcello and Isola about the decoded message. Later, Isola tells Yvonne about the message that Mussolini and his closest allies have plans to escape Italy for Switzerland and intend to take with them the enormous amount of 20 years of stolen treasure from the Italians. Isola plans to steal that treasure from the Black Zone, the infamously heavily guarded area of the city and the most dangerous place in Italy. Yvonne tries to discourage him, but he insists that it's their only chance. Afterward, Isola brings Marcello and Amadeo near the Black Zone and tells them about his plan. Marcello says it's impossible, as armed guards are everywhere, but the warehouse where they keep the treasure is also there. Isola tells them they can do it in 1 week with the help of a few men and a good plan. Then, an air raid occurs, prompting Isola to have an idea for the plan. He shows them his plan and tells them to look for 3 men to help them: a thief, a bomber, and an expert driver. Soon, Amadeo recruits the thief, Hessa, the girl he has a crush on. Isola recruits Fabri, a retired race car driver hiding in a monastery as a monk. They go to an abandoned house, which will serve as their hideout. Unfortunately, Marcello's demo expert, Molotov, is about to be hanged, so they go to stop it with the help of the newly formed team. With Isola in disguise, he approaches Molotov and hands him the keys Hessa stole. With the help of his sharpshooting skills, Marcello shoots the rope that's hanging Molotov. At the same time, Fabri drives recklessly in a truck as a distraction. Isola and Molotov manage to get on the truck as Fabri drives to safety. With the team complete, Isola tells them the plan to steal the treasure. To get inside the area, they must get passes and certificates, which Hessa will procure, and Amadeo will forge a few. They need a stamp of the RSI, which Yvonne will be getting for them. They will need a military truck used by fascists to transport soldiers and prisoners. In the back, Molotov and Isola will be dressed in official uniforms, while Fabri will drive, and the others will be under the bench. When they get in, they will lure all the guards into the bunker using the air raid siren, which Hessa will trigger. Molotov and Amadeo will place explosives along the perimeter. At the same time, Isola and Fabri will have the time to smuggle the treasure into their truck. Molotov requires a lot of TNT to make explosives, so they plan to steal back the TNT they sold to Ahab. It's stored in a villa in Brianza, owned by the Marquis Cerboloni. Fortunately, he will be throwing a party there tomorrow night. Later, Isola visits Yvonne, who's throwing up, but she claims it's just from alcohol. Isola tells her they need the stamp of the RSI to get to the Black Zone. She tries to discourage him from his plan, but he asks her to trust him. He immediately leaves through the air shaft when he hears a knock on her door. Leonida then intercepts him and drags him to a car with Borsellino. Borsellino threatens to kill him and his friends if he doesn't leave Yvonne alone. Soon at the party, Isola and Amadeo are disguised as waiters, while Fabri and Hesse are disguised as guests. Marcello and Molotov are outside guarding the vicinity and unexpectedly see Ahab going inside to the party. Isola purposefully spills champagne on Cerboloni, so he goes to change his clothes. Isola takes the opportunity to corner him, asking the whereabouts of the weapons. Afterward, they go to the cellar and find the weapons, loading the cars with the weapons. Hesse nearly trips, but Amadeo catches her and shares a passionate kiss. At the same time, Ahab finds Cerboloni, his uncle, tied up in his closet. He tells Ahab about the waiter looking for the weapons and immediately goes to find them. Ahab corners Isola, but Fabri arrives and knocks him out with a champagne bottle. Later, Yvonne goes to Borsellino's office to look for the stamp while he's torturing someone in the next room. Suddenly, Borsellino finds her, and she quickly distracts him with a kiss. Borsellino brings her to the Black Zone, where he shows her the treasure they have stolen through the years and asks her to go with him to Switzerland, but she doesn't give him a clear answer yet. Later that night, Nora goes to Borsellino, and she tries to seduce him, but he ignores her and asks for a divorce. She reluctantly agrees to it. Afterward, Yvonne is at the Cabiria, where she performs a song with tears in her eyes. Isola and Borsellino arrive to see her, unbeknownst to the others' arrival. Yvonne collapses after the song. Isola immediately goes to her, and Borsellino sees him with her. Jealously, he approaches them with a gun, threatening to kill Isola, who tackles him, causing the gun to misfire and scare the club patrons. Borsellino chokes Isola, but Fabri hits him with a champagne bottle, distracting him for a moment for Isola to knock him out. Isola brings the unconscious Yvonne to safety. Moments later, Leonida arrives and wakes Borsellino. He orders them to find Isola and his friends and bring them to him. Meanwhile, Hesse and Amadeo are in his room, where he gives him his father's cigarette case as a gift. Marcello and Molotov hear a noise from outside. They try to hide, but soldiers shoot at the doors. Hesse and Amadeo hear the commotion and go to Marcello and Molotov as they pack the explosives, who orders them to go to the van. Marcello is injured from a strong blast by the door as they escape. Soon, Isola, the unconscious Yvonne, and Fabri arrive at their hideout. Moments later, the others come as well. Isola tells them that Borsellino tried to kill them but believes he doesn't know about their plans for the heist. When Yvonne gains consciousness, she tells Isola she's pregnant and it's his. She still tries to discourage his plan and tells him he saw Mussolini's treasure. Unexpectedly, Nora arrives at the group's hideout and reveals that she has been listening in on their plans to rob Mussolini. She will let them do the heist, and she will keep watching their back, but they must split the treasure with her 50-50. Nora is distraught after her husband abandons her for Yvonne and wants revenge, so she agrees to help Isola and his crew steal the treasure. She tells them there has been a change of plans, and they only have 24 hours before the heist. Isola agrees to the plans, shocking everyone. Yvonne and Isola argue about it, and she gives him the stamp before leaving. The others reluctantly agree to stay for the heist, so they all prepare for it tomorrow night. The next night arrives, and they steal a truck for their plan. Fabri pretends to be a soldier, and they cuff Isola and bring him to the Black Zone as a disguised prisoner. At the same time, Hesse, Amadeo, and Marcello are hidden in the benches. They enter the facility, and they each go to their positions. Molotov and Amadeo set the bombs near the wall guarding the treasure and around the perimeter. At the same time, Hesse sneakily goes to the Siren Tower. Marcello takes a high position with his rifle prepared as Fabri and Isola encounter more guards. Meanwhile, Borsellino takes Yvonne captive and scolds her for choosing Isola. He plans to knock her out with a sedative while he brings her across the border to Switzerland. Just before he sedates her, he gets a call informing him that Isola has been captured. Hesse successfully goes to the Siren Tower, knocks out the guards, and triggers the sirens. While setting up the bombs, Molotov encounters a soldier, who he kills but gets shot. Many soldiers run to the bunkers, and the bombs go off. While the guards are distracted, Isola uncuffs himself and fights the soldiers. Hesse is cornered by two soldiers and is shot, but Amadeo arrives and kills the guards. Amadeo cradles her body and finds the cigarette case he gave her, saving her from the bullet. Marcello saves Isola from afar, and he wakes the unconscious Fabri so they can block the bunker doors. As the explosions are over, Isola and Fabri go to the warehouse where the treasure is. They soon find it, and the others help load their truck. Hessa accidentally drops a box of gold rings. Isola explains that Italian wives donated their wedding rings to help fund the war. Moments later, Nora and her men meet them, revealing she killed Borsellino, and in his absence, his soldiers will follow her orders. She demands to hand over the treasure, but Isola grabs Nora and orders her men to drop their weapons, but they don't. Leonida reveals they have Ivan and forces Isola and his team to surrender the treasure and drop their weapons. Unfortunately, Nora doesn't let her go, and she escapes with the treasure. When Isola and his team are about to be killed, Ahab and the resistance arrive. A shootout occurs, but Nora and her men escape when Leonida throws a bomb at them, unknowingly leaving Isola and his crew with half the treasure. Ahab reveals that Ivan informed them about the treasure. Isola wants to catch up to Nora to save Ivan, but their trucks are destroyed, and they already have a head start. Fortunately, Fabri found a sports car left in the treasure. Soon, Fabri and Isola catch up with Nora and her men. Isola attacks the soldiers, and Ivan gains the confidence to grab Nora's gun from her. Isola takes the other car while Fabri drives ahead to try and stop the truck. He shoots the driver, causing the truck containing the treasure to lose control and fall into a nearby lake while Nora and Ivan are still inside. Isola's car falls right after. Moments later, Ivan drags Isola to the shore. He gains consciousness, and Isola gives her a ring he had pocketed earlier and puts one on. Fabri arrives and wonders how deep the lake is to find the submerged treasure. Isola realizes that love is the most valuable treasure despite urges from Fabri to search the lake for the treasure. The movie ends as a radio reporter announces that the war is over. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.